Hey guys, so you've started to get the hang of this whole independent study lessons. So we're going to move right into your independent study video number 3. It is section 4.6 in your notebook, page 16. The nice thing about this set of notes is that it's going to follow from the last independent study video you watched with the linear inequalities, except this time I'm going to have a system of linear inequalities. So a couple of things to remember. If you have a less than or greater than, remember that's when you draw your dashed line. And if it's a less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, that's when you have your solid line. If your y is first and it's less than or equal to, you're going to shade below. And if it's greater than or equal to, you're going to shade above. Some things to remember: if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip that inequality sign. The only difference with our last independent study video and this is you are going to do basically 2 to 3 of the linear inequalities on one graph, and your final answer is where all those shaded regions overlap. So you're going to kind of darken that overlapping area. So let's start with example 1. I have 2 linear inequalities. I'm going to take the first one and solve for y so that it can be graphed easily. Divide by -2, so I have to flip my inequality. And I get y is greater than 1/2 x minus 3. So I'm going to start down at -3 and go up 1 over 2. Up 1 to the right 2. Up 1 to the right 2. And is a dashed line. It is greater than, so I am interested in everything above. Then I'm going to do my second inequality. It intercepts the y-axis at 5, down 3, and to the right 2. This one is a solid line. And I am interested in everything below because it's less than. So my final answer is going to be where those 2 shaded regions overlap, which is going to be this final yellow. So any points within that yellow region will make those 2 inequalities both true. We're going to just do this a couple more times. So if you want to pause the video or maybe mute the sound and try the second one and see if we end up with the same answer, feel free. Y is greater than -2x. That has a y-intercept at 0. And I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 1 because its slope is -2. It is greater than, so I have a dashed line. And I am interested in greater than, so I'm going to shade above. I'm going to solve my second one for y, just so it's nice and easy to graph. I have to divide by that negative. Down on the y-axis at -2, and then up 2 over 1. Solid line this time. And I am interested because it's y is first and it's less than. Interested in what's below. And then my final solution is where those 2 overlap. So 1 and 2 are pretty similar. When you get into 3 and 4, I'm giving you more than just 2 inequalities, but you're still going to do it the same way. Y is greater than or equal to -1. So it's a horizontal line at -1, and I am interested in greater than. X is less than 3, so I'm going to do a dashed line this time at x equals 3. I am interested in less than. And then that third one is already solved. So I'm going to go down to -1 on the y-axis, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And it's a solid line. And I am interested in everything greater. So my final answer is going to be to the left of the green line, above the purple line, and above the pink line. So it's kind of got this rectangular shape with a little corner removed. Some of you, if you just want to shade the final answer, that's okay too. It's just a little easier for me to give partial credit if you have a little bit of work in between. And then number 4, none of them are solved for y, and there's 4 of them. So we're going to start for solving for y. Up on the y-axis at 4. Solid line. And I am interested in everything below. So to try to avoid getting too crazy since there's 4, I'm going to kind of do like this little arrow, just so I know that I'm shading below. Do the same thing with my next inequality. Solving for y. So I have slope of -1. So it's parallel to that pink line. Let's try that again. Actually go through my points. There we go. And I am interested in everything above. So right now, my shaded region is everything between those two. Go to my third one, flipping that inequality. Excuse me. Not sure where that one came from. No. So my y-intercept is at 2, up 1 over 1. And am I interested in everything below? So we're now just talking in that region. And then we have the last one. Again, just going to solve for y, make it easy to graph. So down -2, up 1 over 1. Solid line again. And I want everything above. So my final answer, let's see if the yellow will show up, is just that middle. So anything in that yellow shaded region will make all 4 of those inequalities true. So hopefully this is kind of bringing you back to last year, whether you were here or in middle school. It should have been something that you were all exposed to. And then the very last one, you know, I like to do these where you work backwards, get a little honors level in here. So we're going to write a system of inequalities. That should be inequalities. That describes the shaded region below. So I know that I have 4 lines. So I'm just going to pick the top one to start. I've shaded below that purple line, so I know I'm going to start with y is less than, and then it's or equal to because it's a solid line. And then I need to find the equation of that line. That is just a horizontal line at 3. So if we keep that easier lines, I also have a horizontal line at y equals -1. And I am interested in what's above that. And it was a solid line. So I have that or equal to as well. If I look at the left, I'm going to look for my my slope and my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is at 3, and my slope, if I count boxes, is up 1 and to the right 1. So my equation is going to be y is equal to 1x plus 3. I've shaded below that green line, so it's going to be less than. And because it's a solid line, it's going to be an or equal to. And then same thing for my last one. I have a slope of 1, it looks like, as well. But this time, if I keep my line going, my y-intercept is going to be at -6. I am interested in everything above, so it's going to be a greater than. And it is a solid line, so it's going to be an or equal to. Okay, so once again, that's going to be page 16 in your notebook, and this will appear on your chapter 4 test. Remember, there's practice problems if you want to do a couple just to make sure on Canvas.